Arizona Cardinals have talked to some pretty big fish as far as head coach candidates, but is Mike LaFleur, Rams offensive coordinator, the safest bet to land with the Redbirds, Johnny Venerable?
You would think so. Debriefing Robert Saleh's interview last night and looking ahead to this weekend, Bo and I are going to go team by team, opening by opening, and we're going to give you our thoughts of how this is all going to shake out. PHNX Cardinals on Friday starts now. Hey, welcome in. Studio K, presented by our friends at Circle K. It's the PHNX Cardinals podcast, your premier, number one in the world, Arizona Cardinal podcast. Kindly like and subscribe. Subscribe wherever you get your audio podcast. Leave us a 5-star here and wherever you get your programming. I'm Johnny Venerable on this Football Friday. He is Bo Brack, locked, loaded, and ready to go. No man behind the mic. January 16th, no Cardinals coach yet. Where do things stand? We're going to tell you here on a Friday, Bo.
Jules, Phoenix, Slim, Mikey. What's up, Desert Treble? How about Jack and Deb, Jacob, Troopa? I'm Hen, Mahim, Shaft. The entire squad's here, ready to talk some ball with us. Raging Skag. So many people. Lukey, love that. Raging Skag, as I said. Shane, how about Luke again and Daniel Barnett? The entire squad. If I missed you, we're not missing you. We're appreciative that you are here. Of course, this episode of PHNX Cardinals is brought to you by our friends over at Bet365. Download the Bet365 app today. Get in on the divisional round options action by using the code PHNX365, because when you deposit $10, you bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose, Johnny.
Yeah, hit that like button for your boys. What a week. We had our ups. We've had our downs. We've been down big time. Robert Saleh interview with the Arizona Cardinals last night. And today he's prepping for Seattle. He's poised to do at least 2 more interviews on Sunday. And I think he will be a free man on Sunday. I think the Niners are losing this weekend. And I think we're going to know the fate of Robert Saleh hopefully within a week or so. The news of the day is that the Cardinals locked and loaded an interview officially with Rams offensive coordinator Mike LaFleur, who has been in maybe not tier 1 for Bo and I, but in that next group, a very acceptable choice given his background, his, of course, familiarity in the NFC West, his ability hopefully to put together a staff, and his ability to coach outside of the division. We've seen him do that as well. What they didn't get, Bo, is FaceTime with Chris Sula, who has basically only chosen 3 teams. And we thought this was going to happen with Robert Saleh. It did not. And so I think you can draw a couple different scenarios from this. Chris Sula is in demand. Yeah. Chris Sula, which we're going to talk about, feels like he's destined to get a job. And Chris Sula feels like maybe he can pick his job. Whereas Robert Saleh is interviewing with everybody. Sure. Maybe Robert Saleh doesn't feel like he's guaranteed to get a job. Maybe the shine of Chris Sula, who hasn't failed as a head coach yet, maybe it's a little bit more appealing for a Pittsburgh or a Baltimore.
Yeah, it looked like he was kind of cherry picking, front running a little bit as far as his options. When you look at the teams that he's decided to make an emphasis or make some time for in his busy week, I agree, Z-Man. Yeah, probably that 2.5 cups of juice, maybe less than that.
Yeah,
for Chris Sula. He was able to be a little bit picky, and he went with the Steelers. He went with was it the Ravens and the Dolphins? Was those the 3 for Sula? So it's like probably 3 of the top destinations or openings out there on the head coaching circuit. And Chris Sula he's unblemished. He's a coordinator. He's been in the building, developed in a lab by Sean McVay to be his next DC, and kind of strung along here. And he's been holding different positions from assistant linebackers coach to this and that to DC after the exits of guys like, Brandon Staley and Raheem Morris. It became Shula's job, and he's kind of a blank canvas. He doesn't have any former job baggage like Robert Saleh does, and he's young, and he's just viewed as kind of this whiz kid with, obviously a strong pedigree. Don Shula's his grandfather. I mean, a lot of good things going on for Chris Sula. I think Shula's the type of candidate that if he could take over one of these top jobs would benefit the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah. I also think like Shula in Arizona would be interesting, but I don't think I just don't think he has the floor to be able to come here like some of these other guys. Now, right. His ceiling might be higher, but I think that his ceiling is directly tied to, how do I want to put this? Like competence or immediate competence or infrastructure is probably the better word. Like Chris Sula could go into Baltimore and I think crush it, right? Because he's got his quarterback, he's got his general manager, he's got a really good roster, right? Same thing with Pittsburgh. I know they don't have the QB. Like I think for a lot of teams, that's appealing. For the Cardinals, they need innovation.
Right.
They need, we talk about this every day. They need somebody overcoming adversity. They need somebody that can come in and take your players and take C and D players and make them B players, right? Mm-hmm. Like I think Chris Sula, for the Steelers and the Ravens makes a lot of sense. Maybe for the Dolphins, although that's kind of cooled a little bit. But right. For me, it's like I love seeing his name connected to those other jobs because, frankly, I don't really see him as a logical fit here. I think he's very similar to, it's probably a little bit better thought of than a Halfley. And then I think Minter's got a better resume doing it at a couple different places. So I'd put him probably in between those guys. But for me, it's like Robert Saleh is really the only defensive coach I want based on what he's doing, his familiarity with the West. Everybody else, Kubiak, and then when we talk about LaFleur, you get the ultimate upside. Play caller and somebody that can develop a quarterback, which is going to keep you relevant.
Yeah, he's connected.
Yeah.
Well connected and well liked. Shula is one of those guys, like, could he score after being born on third base as far as the coaching opportunity that he gets? And that's like the Ravens, the Steelers. Like, yes, he very well could. There's some guys that can't, right? And that's a credit, it's a knock, and also, being nice to Chris Sula during this process, because I'm very much saying, like, thanks, but no thanks. And it seems like Shula's doing the same thing with the Arizona Cardinals because he understands what opportunities are there. But like when you start to play the game with like putting Shula with one of these top jobs, it does continue to keep the Cardinals' options open with some very viable candidates. And you have to appreciate that. And like, if you push it down enough and you start to kind of take away from this, like at the very least, could you end up with a Mike LaFleur? And I think that this fan base seeking, fresh direction would welcome that with open arms.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And we need some dominoes to fall here.
Oh yeah.
We're going to talk about that, around the corner here after we debrief LaFleur, but like there are some things that we need to transpire this weekend and then some hires early next week. And I think it very much will dictate how the Cardinals are able to operate. And listen, like I'm not going to come on this show and not admit, like, the Cardinals are very much like wait and see. That's their situation right now. Mm-hmm. We want them to be aggressive. There's only so many things they can sell. Now, I contend, and I know some like local radio was pushing back on this. I wholeheartedly disagree. And some people were tagging us on Twitter. It's the only reason I bring it up. Robert Saleh didn't give the Cardinals, in my opinion, a pity interview. Like Chris Sula, like he could have followed Chris Shula's lead and said, "Nope, I'm making time for these teams. I meet with these teams." So Robert Saleh doesn't owe the Cardinals anything. Do I think it's in good like best practice or business to meet with everybody because it enhances your chances and you can leverage teams? Sure. But Chris Sula and his agent must feel like he's a legitimate contender for multiple jobs, right? And, let's see if he can shut down Caleb Williams this weekend. I'm sure that would go a long way. But for Robert Saleh, fair or not, has an asterisk on his resume. He failed in New York. No, not many people succeed there, but didn't succeed. Had a losing record, had a falling out with the owner, has come to San Francisco and revitalized his stock in 1 year. But people could say, in front or behind closed doors, maybe this is just another Vic Fangio. Maybe this is another Steve Spagnuolo, somebody that is an elite defensive mind, a defensive coordinator, not a great head coach. Now, the Cardinals don't think that. We know they don't think that. I think your average fan can put the pieces together. But there is something to be said about these other franchises with really unlimited options, cachet, specifically the two teams in the AFC North, thinking like, well, we're the Ravens, we're the Steelers. We're not going to take a retired or a recycled coach. And so that gives the Cardinals an opportunity. I knock on the biggest piece of wood to maybe buy low on Robert Saleh if he'll have them, Bo.
Right. Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Like, can you eliminate enough of the top contenders that would just want to try go a different direction? And
right.
It's not because it's like a lot of the insiders, the NFL analysts, the pundits that I keep listening to. Like, you hear Robert Saleh's name bandied about across the openings here, and he's not like the front runner for any of them. And you think, well,
no,
are they not watching the NFL in 2025? Have they not seen what he's done? And then also understand, the uphill climb he had since he entered the building there in East Rutherford with the Jets. And then he's saddled with Zach Wilson, and, it's just nothing ever really kind of came about. Like the offense was just so brutal, and his defense continued to be one of the better units in the league. Why are people not seeing that? It's just like, yeah, I think that there is something to him just having a little bit of baggage from the previous stop, fair or not.
Yeah.
And the Ravens have this idea of who they are. They've got 2 titles in the century, and they're going to want to like put somebody up there and say, hey, we're just like the Steelers. We've got stability. We've got continuity. We're going to bring in one of these fresh faces, and we're going to build them up instead of trying to sell you on somebody that's looking for their second chance.
And I think you look at the Raiders, and we'll talk about it. It just, I unless it's Brian Flores, I just feel like, offensive guy with Fernando Mendoza, offensive guy to connect with Tom Brady. They just went older guy, Pete Carroll, defensive guy. That didn't work out. Your talent with the Raiders is going to be on the offensive side. Brock Bowers, Aston Genty, Fernando Mendoza. They're going to trade Max Crosby. I don't see that as a fit for Saleh. And then I look at, Atlanta's the one team right now where you saw some rumblings on Twitter that maybe they'd like to talk to him beyond Sunday. We need Kevin Stefanski to take that job.
Yeah.
Cardinal fans need Kevin Stefanski, who I think would be a great candidate here. But we told you connections to Jonathan Gannon, they're not going to do it.
Right.
That is a chess piece that we need eliminated at one of the more attractive jobs. Like, to me, the Falcons' job is kind of milquetoast. You don't have a quarterback, whatever. Mm-hmm. But people like Arthur Blank, it's an easy division, whatever. I just that's the one where we're kind of on bated breath, Bo. And Stefanski could go be their head coach tomorrow. They're not waiting on anything.
I feel like there are 2 of those teams.
Okay.
Like, and it's not the 2 most appealing teams on the market. It's like it's Atlanta there, which they've got a lot of going for them, right? As far as their roster goes and how they finished on a 4-game heater and still blew Raheem Morris out. There's that. And then like Miami. I think Miami, I think people just view that. Obviously, it's a destination, South Beach. And
they got number 1 on the NFLPA grades, I think.
Yeah,
just because
they got a lot going for them, and I think that they would be an organization that. And he talked to the Dolphins literally right before he talked to the Cardinals last night. Like he made a point to get those 2 interviews checked off. with the chance that, he could be preparing for a third week in the playoffs potentially. And I know what he's up against as far as Seattle, but we'll see what happens with Sam Darnold, right? I think the Falcons and the Dolphins, because I just don't. I think that the Steelers and the Ravens do view Saleh a little bit further down and are higher on some of these younger candidates.
Tennessee is, I mean, who knows what the hell they're going to do? They've interviewed like 25 people.
Right.
Saleh is one of like 25 people. They want somebody with experience, but like, is it offensive experience? You got to think so, to get their franchise quarterback back on the right path.
Right.
Let's touch base on Mike LaFleur. Raiders, Cardinals. Those are his only 2 head coaching interviews, at least right now. Maybe that changes if they, work the Bears and they look great this weekend. Second interviews are starting next week for a lot of these teams if they need them. Is Mike LaFleur, in your opinion, the safety net for this fan base? Not for the Cardinals, not for the national media. Is that the right safety net right now for Cardinal fandom?
I do believe that. But if you were to pit them mano a mano against the Raiders is a better job for Mike LaFleur. They've got the first overall pick. They're going to be able to bring in Fernando Mendoza and all those offensive firepower that you mentioned. Like, that's going to be appealing. You're going to have, Tom Brady's in that building. I think that the Raiders just have a little bit of an edge as far as trying to muscle that team out. But so, like, is it good? Like, I'd say it's good from this standpoint. Like, if LaFleur takes the Raiders, I think a guy like Kubiak could be left standing, or a guy like Saleh could be left standing, or you can make a case for Jesse Minter. Like, there's still going to be candidates available, I think, for the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, I mean, we've got our tiers. We've talked about them. LaFleur, I think, gives you the opportunity to have the most upside with his staff because of the fact that, and Kubiak to some extent as well, but LaFleur, it does feel like his familiarity with Raheem Morris, like that feels like a play that, if they're willing to pay for it, the Cardinals will be foolish not to explore. And LaFleur, especially, whether it's this year or next year, gives you grace with developing the quarterback position, getting your offense in position to utilize all your playmakers. We've talked about it. Puka, Dante, all the tight ends there. The running backs catch passes. Like, it's an offense that's skill player friendly. The Cardinals need that, right? Yeah. Get us out of this box and let them spread their wings, because that's where a lot of their investments are. And that would be wise for them to do that. So, and then Kubiak is LaFleur plus, right? He's the guy. He's the hottest. Polished. Right. Yeah. He's the hottest play caller, but LaFleur could be Kubiak in a year, as you've said time and time again. And if that happens, is he much more, valuable in the open market to the point where you can't obtain him given your optics right now? Those are things that they have to weigh. Right.
No, I mean, I think he's the, get in early. You're buying low with a highest ceiling. Like, when you look at LaFleur, I mean, he started his coaching with Shanahan. Like, he was a coaching intern for Shanahan in Cleveland. He followed him to Atlanta, and then he followed him to San Francisco. Like, he's got extensive time.
See multiple franchises.
Right. With Shanahan, his brother's Matt LaFleur. And I know that's not a popular name a week after he squandered an 18-point lead for some questionable play calling, but he's been one of the most consistent offensive minds in the NFL. He's connected. Yeah. He's credible. And then he's just had he's getting a second master's under Sean McVay the last 3 years. I mean, like, all that about LaFleur is really, really, I think, intriguing for any team. And like, the good thing is, like, it's one team to beat with the Raiders, but I think the Raiders probably, it doesn't feel like, it feels like at best they're lukewarm on the floor.
To me, it's just another candidate for them.
Oh yeah.
Whereas, like, the Cardinals, I'm sure know the optics.
What did Brewer say? I mean, Albert Brewer was on his podcast with Connor Orr, and like, they're infatuated with the Rams guys, and like, they got one of them. Like, the Shula thing, he didn't make it a priority, but but LaFleur met with them today.
Yeah. Infatuated was the word. They love those guys. I'm sure Raider fans probably feel like how we do about like the Jeff Hafleys of the world. It's just like not my favorite.
Right.
Not my favorite. And like the Raiders too, like I feel like they've talked to like the least amount of people. I'm not sure what they're like too keen on right now. Remember, it was like Brian Flores is going to go to the Raiders. That was going to be the play before this all started. I think he's met with them, but like, why isn't that done? Like, why, like, who are they speaking with? I don't know.
So far, they've completed interviews with Nagy, VJ, Stefanski, Klint Kubiak, Davis Webb, who Brewer liked for the Raiders.
Fine, take him.
Hafley, Jesse Mentor, who also Brewer liked. And then Shieldhouse was added recently, Mike LaFleur, who's scheduled not completely. Maybe was that today for LaFleur as well?
Yes. So that's
and then Avero, the DC from the Panthers. So it's kind of all over the place.
Yeah, I don't. That passing game coordinator that looks like he's 12, who's supposedly really good for the Rams. Can he get a job? Can he get somebody's job? Can we get that guy?
Well, it's like Davis Webb. Like, put Davis Webb in one of these jobs,
please. Especially because people are like, "Well, Vance will bring Davis Webb with him to Arizona, so they can lose 13 games." No, thanks. No, I'm not interested in that. People are like, "Well, Vance wouldn't be great, but Davis Webb." It's like, well, then just hire Davis Webb as your head coach.
Right.
But he's not. He's 30 years old.
Right.
I mean, like Davis Webb and Fernando Mendoza. If you want to see how that goes, Kingsbury and Kyler Murray style, do that. The Cardinals situation is completely different.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so Bo and I are going to come back around the corner. We're going to give you our updated predictions. We went through every team but the Cardinals as to where we think things stand with every opening. Hit that like. You're not going to want to miss it. It's PHNX. As you get prepped for beach season, check out our friends for Factor Meals. Perfect time. New year, new you, big goals. No time to cook? Well, Factor is here to make it easy with fully prepared meals designed by dietitians and crafted by chefs so you can eat well without shopping or cooking. Let me tell you about it. It's got 100 rotating weekly meals. I've been on it for the better part of 3 years. I love it, and I love it, frankly, for the convenience factor. We've all done the at-home cooking supplies, the at-home ads, and it's like it's going to take you 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 15 minutes. It never does. There's a huge mess to clean up after the fact. That's why I'm 100% on board, full steam ahead with Factor Meals. Again, meals ready in 2 minutes, not 20 minutes. They've got high-protein meals. They've got colorful veggies, food ingredients, and healthy fats with no refined sugar, no artificial sweetener, and no refined seed oils, okay? These are meals to fit your goals and your schedule, eating healthier, calorie management guaranteed. It's a call to action. Head to our friends at Factor Meals at factormeals.com, and you're going to get 50% off for your first box with the bonus code PHNX50 off. That's PHNX50 off to get 50% off. And you get 1 free year of breakfast when you sign up. So check it out now. Offer only valid for new customers. Make healthier eating easy with our friends at Factor.
We're near the end of the football season, and that means might be time to take on that home project you've been delaying. Why not do it with our friends over at the Window Depot? That's right. They're your one-stop shop. You're like, Bo, Window Depot? Aren't they just about windows? Oh, no, that is a horrible misconception. Sure, they started way back when in 2002, just windows, but now they're way more than just a window store. We're talking windows, doors, skylights, cabinets, countertops, sinks, you name it. You can find it at the Window Depot. You need something custom? They got that covered too. As far as the contractors, love them for the job site ready quantities, great pricings, and expert service. No membership required, and homeowners love them because of their in-house designers are free and help bring your vision to life. Right now, start that home project with our friends over at thewindowdepot.com and get started today.
Hit that like button, subscribe to PHNX Sports here on YouTube. Get us to 50K. Come on, you want to be that person that subscribes. Our data shows that, not everybody who watches the show subscribes. That makes me a sad Johnny V. So hit that like button and subscribe today. Man, I can't believe there were 9 openings. I can't believe that the Cardinals fired Jonathan Gannon when we thought he was safe. And we've heard rumblings that do the Cardinals did they expect this? Did they expect this many openings, right? We've got a clip. Here's Mike Garafolo. He's going to rip through what he's heard as it relates to these openings. And then
this is the Cardinals. This is what he's heard about the Cardinals.
This is for Arizona.
Arizona, well, I mean, the problem with Arizona is this list was here when you fired your guy. Now it's here.
Right.
Yeah. You got quarterback problems. You're known as a team that doesn't spend a lot of money when it comes to the coaching staff. So you're really going to have to, if you want one of these top candidates, come stronger than you usually do. So Arizona, I think, could take some time for some sorting out there. Did I miss anybody?
So that's on the ALLCITY program with our guys from PHOI and Baldy. Mike's going to join us, Bo, soon. This offseason.
Yeah, I've traded emails with Mike. He's ready to come back, and we'll get him on the show next week.
And so that's the concern right now. Did Michael Bidwill think, well, there's only going to be 5 openings. I'm going to jump in. Because you remember the Gannon cycle, there was 5 openings. And now it doubled.
Right.
And now the Steelers lost their coach, and then that coach didn't jump in the pool, right?
Yeah.
So you're competing. To me, I still think there are more good candidates than openings. Do you agree with that?
There's enough.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a very specific way that the dominoes need to fall, and they don't ever fall this way. That's going to leave the Cardinals on the outside looking in at a potential, big time candidate. I mean, the one thing he's saying, he didn't say that they weren't willing to pay, but traditionally they haven't spent on the coaching staff. And I think what Garafolo is pointing out is if you do want one of these top guys, you have to pony up. You have to be willing to do so.
Yeah.
And in this situation, especially when the pool has gotten a little bit more crowded than you wanted, right? That you're going to have, that's how you're going to separate yourself because of the other issues, because of the quarterback, because of, the things that have trended in the wrong direction.
Yeah. I mean, we had this pretty well sourced, Michael Bidwill at the end of last year had preliminary contract extension talks with Gannon.
Yeah.
And wanted to get that process started because they saw this. They saw how that was going. Now, and I don't know what Gannon's base salary was. I know it wasn't terrible. And I think, and he was due to get a raise. If they would have won this year, Cliff Kingsbury style, Cliff got a raise after the 3rd year.
Mm-hmm.
If Gannon and Ossenfort had a winning record this year, Gannon would have gotten a substantial raise and extension. So would Monti. They were prepared for that. So maybe that helps some context, Bo, as it relates the Cardinals are just going to pay bottom 5 money.
Right.
Maybe that money you were going to give JG as a raise, that needs to be your offer to Robert Saleh. I think that at minimum, that's what you need to do. So Michael Bidwill is going to be able to put his money where his mouth is. Just hey, you want to win? Go and pay big money for Robert Saleh or Klint Kubiak or Mike LaFleur. If you want to keep status quo, go and make Vance Joseph the 32nd paid head coach in the NFL.
Well, it's so uber important with the direction that you have pivoted as a franchise. If you kept Monti Ossenfort, and Monti Ossenfort has said, been very transparent, at least with this one, that they are a draft and develop team.
Yeah.
And that makes who you have as far as your coaching staff paramount. You have to have that right. You have to have a coaching staff that is going to get in there and is going to be able to take these guys and mature them, develop them, and get them in a position to where they're going to be able to compete. Because otherwise, it's just going to be this middling team where it's just you're going to be young. You're going to have a lot of guys that you have, on your roster, but are they ever going to get to the point where they need to in order to actually consistently contend? That's what they wanted to do. They wanted to be this team that wasn't in and out of contention. So you have to now, the learning process, which unfortunately has come, via being beaten over the head over and over again and bludgeoned, that, hey, you have to now, you invested there in the roster. You haven't been cheap, as far as investing in, as far as the cap and all of that. And the facilities, that's coming. But now you got to do the coaching staff. You got to pay premium dollar to make sure that they're going to, make sure to take your investments and get the best ROI on that?
Somebody just sent this to me. The Gannon's contract. This is just speculation. Gannon was getting about $5 to $6 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
So not top tier money. When you compare it to John Harbaugh is making how much per year?
$20
million for the Giants. So
Peyton's making what, 16?
Yeah. So, I mean, do you want a nickel and dime coaches?
Robert Saleh is not in that. He's not at that level.
Right. I would say he's in the 8 figures, though. I would say 10? You need to pay Robert Saleh $10 million a year.
Probably.
It's
the Cardinal tax.
In inflation, too, like when Gannon got that deal, I would say, like, I think you need to be anywhere between, like, 8 to 12 million to get a good coach this cycle. 8 to 12 million. And I mean, like, then you have to have room to, like, increase, right? If they win, like, that's what you want to be able to sell them on. So incentives and that kind of thing. Brooks Journey asking, are we back? I hope we're back. And I hope this list gets us back. Here's Bo and I. We're going to break down our predictions here.
We're not going to show the whole list right now, right?
Oh, we're not? Okay.
Don't we want to go like?
Okay, yeah. Let's
do hide it a little bit. We don't want to, like,
that's good.
Show our entire hand right now.
Wow, you're right. Wow, I was ready to just whip it out, but now we're gonna go.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. What? Let's
pause.
This is a family show.
All right. So let's start with the Giants. Harbaugh. Okay. We don't believe that that's going to fall apart. You're going to get that deal done. Semantics right now, fine tuning his contract. You believe that's done?
Yeah, that would be a big nightmare for Big Blue if they somehow just fumble this.
Yep. It is Friday after all. All right, let's go to Atlanta. Atlanta, to me, wild card, get them off the board. We're gonna hold right now with some of the odds makers. Kevin Stefanski is our guess, is our hope. You've got the beat reporter for the Jets who says that he believes it's going to be Kevin Stefanski. Please, Arthur Blank, rip the Band-Aid off and get that done.
Well, and Josina Anderson, who's been, obviously she had like blow by blow as far as the Saleh interview yesterday.
Yeah.
Like the interview has started right around 6:30. It's been completed. She reported today that the Falcons are wrestling between an offensive guy and a defensive guy. And it's not like, oh, do we hire an offensive caliber guy or no, it's one candidate each side of the football. And many people believe it's a Stefanski versus Saleh type struggle that the organization is going through right now.
I think if you're like Bijan Robinson, you're pounding the table for Stefanski. Who the hell knows what they're going to do at quarterback? They have a lot of defensive talent there, and Saleh could go and have success there. Their defensive cover is not bare. Raheem Morris had that team humming at the end of the year defensively. But you just did this, I think Robert Saleh's got a hell of a lot higher ceiling than Raheem Morris. But if you're their fan base, like Raheem Morris and Robert Saleh, are they closer than people want to admit? I think that's what they're probably struggling with. Whereas like Kevin Stefanski, 2-time coach of the year, I still think that's the play. We need that to be the play, Cardinal fans. And it looks certainly like Klint Kubiak's. That's not the play for them.
Yeah.
At least right now. So Kubes, while Saleh could be a threat there, Kubes is safe as we go through these two teams. All right, let's move to the Titans. Okay. And again, I'll believe this when I see it. But you and I, based on everybody's reporting, they've interviewed 20-plus people. It's never ending. Saleh's going to meet with them. We're going to maybe. Yeah. We're going to say Matt Nagy for now.
Yeah, I think it's maybe a Nagy or a McCarthy in Tennessee.
which would be fine.
Yeah. Like of the 18 interviews that they've requested, completed, scheduled, like they didn't even have Klint Kubiak on there. They didn't even request him. So
What's going on with Kubik?
So they've got a Kansas City guy at their GM spot now, and that's why like there's the Nagy connection.
Yes, please I need some of these coaching notifications to just slap.
Just
like
start
seeing. I need it.
I mean, where do we view the Titans? Like from one standpoint, like you're looking at them like they've got Cam Ward, and like he didn't embarrass himself, but he didn't like impress like the hell out of you.
They
and
don't
then like the roster sucks.
Yeah, I was just about to say they don't have
roster
any
is
talent on that roster. Great town, middling division, although it's getting better.
Like they're not going to be the Patriots. Like Cam Ward is not Drake May.
No, and I think their ownership's a little funky too. I mean, they ran out Mike Vrabel,
Right.
and if people are like, "Oh, the Cardinals," they
talk about
fired,
like league circles and stuff. Like you run Vrabel out, and it's like, oh, that sure, yeah.
You wouldn't pay AJ Brown. You shipped him
Right.
out. It's like, that's why Nagy. I mean, like, quietly just do that, Tennessee, please. All right, so moving on. So those are two big dominoes, Nagy and Stefanski. And then I'm going to tell you, when we were on break, and there's more, I think, than smoke to this, a prominent beat reporter, radio personality for the Browns tweeted out a picture of Jim Schwartz. I think there's real momentum for Jim Schwartz. I think...
Whoa. What happened?
A prominent beat reporter for the Browns, a radio host, just tweeted out a picture of Jim Schwartz.
Just a picture.
Just a picture.
No caption.
No caption. And I mean, he's got like 40 or 50,000 followers.
Yeah.
And just the Browns are what people are saying sometimes that the Cardinals are this cycle. No one's talking to the Browns.
Right.
Like the Browns are doing what people were afraid Bidwill was going to do, where you're not even participating in these interviews. They've interviewed Mike McDaniel to be their head coach. I think they're the only team that did that. Maybe the Titans.
A couple of teams like doubled up, like they did OC.
Right. Come on. What is that? They're talking. They talked to Tommy Reese. I mean, like the Browns interview list is one of the worst. And
let's take a look. Monken. Todd Monken, Dirty, the DC for the Seahawks.
Okay.
Dan Pitcher, who's the Bengals OC.
Jesus.
Tommy Reese, Jim Schwartz, who it's confirmed he's got a second interview.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Jesse Minter is scheduled. I don't know if they ever did that. Like you said, McDaniel, they scheduled Shieldhouse and Grant Udinsky, the young OC from the Jags.
They're not a threat. I mean,
I think it would probably, if I'm just like, and this is all speculation, I think it's either Schwartz or somebody like Udinsky.
Schwartz with a Shieldhouse as the offensive coordinator, because he doesn't call plays with McVay. Yeah. I think that's what they're trying to do. I think Jim Schwartz is getting that job.
Crazy.
I mean, he's a great defensive coach, and he did take the Lions to the playoffs like twice, maybe. It was like 10, 15 years ago.
No, he didn't take them.
No,
they went to the playoffs.
I think that was Jim Caldwell.
Are you sure?
Was Schwartz before Caldwell or after?
He was, but
Caldwell was after Schwartz.
Hang on. I mean, you're our resident Lions fan. You would know. All right, Jim Schwartz's record. I mean, his record's bad, but that was like peak Lions.
What is his record? Just curious.
He made the playoffs once. He went 10-6. His head coaching record, I think it's like 29-52.
Wow, that's a lot of games. All right, so we like Schwartz in Cleveland.
I mean, here's
Browns
another thing.
Yeah.
Does this sound familiar? I guess players are going to Browns ownership and saying, we want Jim Schwartz.
Mm-hmm.
So does that, I mean, that was like Vance a couple of years ago. Buddha was like pounding the table for Vance. And everybody's like, Buddha, stop talking, please. We can't do that.
I see Shaft saying that the Cleveland job currently, Udinski at 38, McDaniel at 37. I don't think McDaniel's taking that job. It's
we've got a pretty good idea where McDaniel's going. Okay. So those, like, if we hit next week and it's like Stefanski, Nagy, Schwartz are head coaches, it's like, we're doing this. We're Costco guys and we're doing this. Right? We're feeling really good. Harbs is done. He's gone. So then you start to get into the landmine teams, and let's go through them. Pittsburgh Steelers. In their history, they have never hired a head coach, I believe, over 40 years old. All their coaches are young, in their 30s. I'll pull up a statistic here. You tell me who you think this sounds like. Pittsburgh Steelers. Cowher was in early 30s, short-time DC. He had 3 years. Mike Tomlin was in his early 30s, 1 year DC. Who does that sound like?
One Chris Sula.
And I think Chris Sula knows it because he's telling everybody else, don't talk to me.
Maybe enough appealing spots to create some leverage, but not overkill.
So I think you and I will pencil him in there.
Yeah.
They've never been an offensive team. I think their ownership likes that. They don't want, we're the Steelers. We don't want to retread. I think Robert Saleh would love that job.
Yeah.
He's got the stank of the Jets on.
Like, our product is pure.
Right.
We can't sully this with some guy.
God forbid. And they haven't had a losing season in 20 years.
Yeah.
So, hey, listen. Whereas Robert Saleh comes to them with a losing record. It's like, Robert, over here. We can take care of you. All right, next up. Let's skip the Raiders. Let's go to the Ravens.
Okay.
What's your assessment here?
Ravens are putting in some quick work here. They've gone, my God, Nagy, VJ, Stefanski, Klint Kubiak, Anthony Weaver, Saleh's scheduled, as you said, I think Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Davis Webb, Jim Schwartz also got an interview there. Brian Flores, Cliff Kingsbury, Joe Brady, Jesse Mentor, who seemed like the heavy favorite early, Shula, McDaniel, and Shieldhouse.
Okay. Interesting. Bo and I have opted to go with the one that got away, kind of. Jesse Minter is their next head coach with a young OC to pair with Lamar. Maybe Lamar gets to pick his OC. You've heard about, like, Lamar has been in on the coaching dialogue and interviews. They wanted to hire McDonald. He left. Minter was an elite defensive coordinator for Jim Harbaugh at Michigan. He's got Midwest and East Coast ties. And then he's since gone with Jim to the Chargers. And I would argue has done a hell of a job, given, like, I don't love the Chargers defensive personnel. He's kind of done a little bit of a Robert Saleh with them. They had the number one defense last year. This year they were top 5 in EPA defensively. So, I mean, you and I have been on the same page. Minter's getting a job, and we'll put him with the Baltimore Ravens, Bo.
Okay.
2 more teams left. Let's go.
Raiders and Dolphins, right?
Yeah. 2 teams that are going to be hard to peg. Given their fan base, given the ownership, you've got Tom Brady with the Raiders, and you've got now Troy Aikman helping with the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah.
Let's start with the Dolphins. The Dolphins hired an executive from where? Their general manager is from Green Bay. Typically when that happens, you want to bring in people you know. So we will cautiously tie one Jeff Hafley to the Miami Dolphins, Bo.
Yeah, I think this is a potential landing spot for Hafley. I think it's a landing spot potentially for Kubiak.
Okay.
I mean, what everybody's been saying about Hafley is what we expected. Is he's a guy that interviews very well, but like, can you get past the resume of 22-26 Boston College? Just 12 wins in the ACC, and then just gave up 25 points in the fourth quarter to lose to the Bears in the playoffs.
Feels like they want to go kind of hard ass after Mike McDaniel, doesn't it? And I think their preference would probably be Jesse Minter. And if Baltimore doesn't hire Minter, I think he ends up in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Minter ends up in one of those two spots. Miami's kind of like AZ. They're waiting out where the dominoes fall. So that leaves
Stefanski landing place to
where at?
Miami.
You think so?
Yeah.
Did they talk to him?
Yes.
Okay. Wouldn't be a bad option.
You said Shula's talking there.
But we've talked about the fact that feels like a stretch given the history.
Like everybody's been defense outside of Kubiak and Stefanski.
Yeah, and the Raiders with LaFleur today.
Yeah. Well, I'm just talking about the Dolphins.
Yeah, the Dolphins.
Yeah.
All right, so
they really feel like they're going to overcorrect to a defensive guy.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And Saleh could do that too. I mean, if you asked their fan base last night, I mean, they weren't thrilled with that interview. They didn't love that.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a stigma, fair or not. We have a bias to Saleh because he kicks our ass every year.
Right.
When he's with San Francisco, they watched him fail with the Jets, and that was in the height of Mike McDaniel dropping 40 on everybody. Are they really going to go and hire a guy that was undressed by Mike McDaniel consistently? I know the circumstances were terrible, but that the Jets were going 7-10. Mike McDaniel went to the playoffs during that span twice. That's not nothing. And those are things that ownership is aware of when they go through these scenarios. Whereas Hafley comes from Green Bay, and it's like, we're going to bring the Packer culture here, and he's a guy's guy, and he's untainted. He doesn't have he may have been terrible at Boston College, but you know what? The ex-Houston Texans, Bill O'Brien had a losing record at Boston College. We'll forgive that.
Right.
But Minter, I think, would be their first choice. All right, let's jump to the Raiders, which you and I have pegged as probably the hardest team to pick a coach.
Yeah, let's get to the Raiders actually on the other side. We'll finish this up. Raiders, and then, of course, the Cardinals pick. It's all coming up next. PHNX Cardinals.
Check out our friends. It's the husband and wife law team. Again, how are they different? What can they do for you? Where they're the certified specialists by the State Bar of Arizona. In Arizona, the State Bar has certified less than 1% of all lawyers as specialists in injury and wrongful death litigation. And of course, nobody can guarantee the outcome of a legal case. However, they're here as the husband and wife law team to promise you and their clients a great relationship. Based on that, you can cancel their fee agreement at any time for any reason, no questions asked. You also are going to receive as much in your pocket as they receive in their fee, even if they have to reduce their attorney fees to do so. It's about you and their relationship. You can speak with one of their many lawyers as often as you choose about anything you want to discuss. This is not a 1-800 number. This is an intimate relationship to get you taken care of. You have the right to trust them as your lawyers, and you're going to tell them about your strengths and the weaknesses of your claims so they can help you make informed decisions designed around winning. The best practice is dedicated to injury and wrongful death, experienced, specialized, and equipped with the experts to handle every aspect of your case. How do you get started? It's so easy. If you have serious injury, call the husband and wife law team first. It's 602-783-8841, or visit their website at the link in the show notes. Tell them Bo, Johnny, and PHNX Cardinals sent you.
Season is winding down for the NFL. We're right there, close to the finish line, and things are going to start to ramp up again. February, March. In March, man, what a time to live here in the Valley of the Sun. If if you're a sports fan. We go big as sports fans here, and it's getting even bigger. Whole nother level with our friends over at Phoenix Raceway. For the first time ever, it's NASCAR and the NTT IndyCar Series. That's right, open wheel with NASCAR, same weekend, Phoenix Raceway. Circle the dates on your calendar right now, March 5th through March 8th. You're going to want to say that you were there. There's nothing like race weekend. Engines firing, the smell of rubber, and the crowd losing it into turn one. Best access in motorsports, bar none, as far as Phoenix Raceway. Upgrade to the Desert Diamond Casino infield experience, garage access, track walks, meeting drivers. You might even get to drive a car. I don't know. It's not that close, but it's pretty damn close. Check it out. History's being made March 5th through the 8th. You'll want to say you were there. As I said, secure your seats right now. Link in the show notes, phoenixraceway.com.
All right, the final two, Las Vegas Raiders. And you and I went back and forth on this, and there couldn't be a scenario in which Saleh, LaFleur, and Kubiak all were without jobs. So we are going to place Klint Kubiak with the Las Vegas Raiders, which makes a lot of sense. The grand scheme of things, offensive coach has interviewed there, correct? Or scheduled to. Could take a second interview with them after this week. So, I mean, the betting favorite there is still somehow Brian Flores, but when is that happening? When is that transpiring? When are you meeting with him again? Kudos to the Giants. I know it was hardball, so you're grading on a curve here, but get your head coach done, because then you can get your staff put together.
Right.
Some of these teams, if they know who they're hiring, then just flip and hire them.
Right. Yeah. It seems like Kubiak landing there with Mendoza, with Brady, all that offensive talent just makes a lot of sense, which would leave a guy like LaFleur available for the Cardinals to hire. And it continues to be your safety school, right? But if you did the calculus correct, you would know. As here we look at the predictions. Harbaugh's with the Giants. We got Stefanski in Atlanta. Nagy is in Tennessee. Schwartz in Cleveland. Chris Sula with the Steelers. Kubiak just landed with the Raiders. Jesse Minter, he returns to the Ravens, or kind of in a weird way. And then you got Jeff Hafley being the guy down in Miami for the Dolphins.
And again, I think this is very realistic, because the more you hear from an Albert Breer, is that Robert Saleh, a lot of people like him. They like him in their top 2 to 3. But is he anybody's one right now?
Right.
We don't have the answer to that. And I think that's why we wanted to go through this exercise, because it's we'll just talk through it. It's not really connected to the Steelers, not really connected to the Ravens. The Dolphins, we talked about maybe a stigma because he was in the division, didn't succeed. It's not connected to the Browns. The Titans could be an option, although we feel like they're going to go with an offensive guy.
Yeah.
The Falcons really like him. But are you going to take a guy who went 7-10 for 3 straight years over a guy in Kevin Stefanski who won a flipping playoff game with the Cleveland Browns and is an offensive guy?
Right.
The dominoes here are very realistic. I don't think Mike LaFleur is getting a job unless it's the Cardinals. I'll put that out there.
Okay. And I think that's fair. And the Titans, I think it's like you can do a Nagy McCarthy, but we wanted to keep this clean. We wanted one guy, one job. And I think Tennessee is a good landing spot for McCarthy there. He's got his interview coming up this weekend. So here you are. And this is a really good scenario for the Cardinals. And I know you can poke fun at our show. You can do that. Sure. I get it. Because I think, Dolphins are a threat for a guy like Saleh, and the other ones that Johnny outlined, and then LaFleur, and then Flores, who the Cardinals haven't even been tied to this offseason. So I think you've got 2 viable candidates, and I think you could make those interchangeable between, if depending how it goes, it could be Kubiak and LaFleur.
Right.
Instead of Saleh and LaFleur. But really do think LaFleur is going to be available if you want him.
Yeah, I think you and I speculated off air, and I'll just kind of rapid fire worst case scenario, and it was something to the effect of Giants, Harbaugh, Falcons, Stefanski, Titans, Kubiak, Schwartz to the Browns, Shula to the Steelers, LaFleur to the Raiders, Minter to the Ravens, and Saleh to the Dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
That's a thing that could happen. It really
if Kubiak and Saleh come off the market and the Raiders job is still open, I'm concerned.
Yeah, especially for like Mike LaFleur hanging around there. Did the Raiders talk to Brian Flores yet?
I mean, it was scheduled. I don't know
Okay.
if they ever completed the interview or not. Let's see.
That would concern me.
Brian Flores completed with the
Okay.
Ravens, requested by the Steelers. Why do I not see him on? I thought he was requested by the Raiders.
I don't know. I feel like that was kind of like a pre-Black Monday darling, and it just is not transpired at all. That's why we didn't connect the dots here. So, yeah, I mean, that if that scenario pans out, I mean, we're doing cartwheels on this show.
No,
and that's why we wanted to talk it out. If we had just put that up, you're right. If we had just put that up, we would have been labeled as homers. And like, I don't think Matt Nagy's a better coach than the coaches that are available. But you said it. The new GM in Tennessee has ties to Kansas City, and he probably has Andy Reid in his ear. So it's like
Greer and Connor Orr and a lot of guys that are well respected are like, it's not nothing.
It like they keep hearing it.
Yeah.
And again, like Tennessee to me also does not feel like a team that's going to pay big money for a head coach. You could get Matt Nagy for a reasonable amount.
Mm-hmm.
I got this sent to me while we were doing that Cliff Kingsbury's extension with the Cardinals, he was making between $7, $5, and $8 million per year during his extension. Which is about done. Yeah, it's almost over.
2027. So, they're getting some offset there. So
yes, for sure. So like Cliff made more than JG, but he was on a second deal. But again, like I think you got to start in the ballpark of like at least 8 to 10.
Yeah,
you guys show these guys, because like Vance Joseph comes here. Guess what? You can pay him $5 million a year.
You need the candidate to be able to do that, right? You got to have the candidate worthy of making that investment, and that's where you got to be aggressive. That's where Monti needs to come in. Like Monti needs to set the table for it, and then say, "Hey, Bidwill, sign off on this. Let's get it done."
Let's look at our updated locks to get a head coaching gig. We've added a new name to this list: Harbaugh, Stefanski, Kubiak, Saleh, Jesse Minter, and Chris Sula joins the club. 6 of the 9 openings. You know, it's crazy. The name I don't feel the best about is Stefanski still, but it's hard to believe Stefanski's not going to get a job.
Right. I feel actually the least confident about Minter at this point.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
like he's tied to a couple big jobs, but are they going to be willing to pull the trigger?
I think Miami would. I feel like Miami, after watching what the Chargers have done the last 2 years, I think that would be a good hire for Miami. So no Robert Saleh, which is crazy given his resume.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, looking ahead to this weekend, we need a good performance by Seattle, and we need a good performance, the best performance of his life from Buffalo and Josh Allen. For obvious reasons.
Right.
Man, what a week. What a show. We're going to jump into your super chats. Again, let us know in the comments. How do you feel about our predictions here? Hey, let me real quick before the super chats. You and I talked about this off air.
Yeah.
Probably done with candidates at this point, correct?
Yeah, I think the search is done, and it's just interviews and kind of getting it down, narrowing down the field and getting to the second round. Like Rossini was saying, that the Titans, who have the most wide net cast, going to go from 18 or whatever it was down to 5 come Monday. It's going to be interesting to hear what that list is. Yeah,
the Cardinals week 2 and week 3, they were adding new names in 2023 because they were waiting on Gannon. They were disorganized. And they were trying to think outside the box. They were the Titans. So, I mean, it's pretty nuts. We got to 12 to 14 names. All right, we're jumping in. Our guy Kyle earlier today gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much, Kyle.
Unbelievable, Kyle. Thank you so much. We appreciate everything you do for this community. That's huge. 5 PHNX sports supporter emojis. Give Kyle KH a big thank you in the chat.
Then
how about
$20, Bo?
Man, throwing around some cash. Maybe we need Kyle Haley to contribute to Bidwill's new head coach fund. On Arizona Sports today, they were saying Robert Saleh would take the Cardinals job. He worried about
maybe he wouldn't. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe about the quarterback position because he doesn't want to be like the Jets again. Look, that's a concern. Absolutely is, but I think if they make the money right and it's one of the opportunities he's going to get, I think he understands that that's what he's got to do.
So he's making, somebody sent this to me just now, $5 million to be the highest paid defensive coordinator in the NFL.
Yeah.
John Lynch has come out and said we can make it lucrative for him to stay here. So you would assume maybe he gets bumped to 6.5, maybe 7. 7's a lot for a DC. So like Cardinals come in and say, okay, we're going to pay you between $8 to $10 million, and you're going to live not in San Francisco taxes. You're going to come to Arizona with the taxes here. It's not like we don't have state tax, but its cost of living is minuscule compared to San Francisco.
Yeah.
And you're going to come here. I mean, you think about like the money he made in New York, the money he made in San Francisco, and the cost of living has to just be ridiculous. Whereas he come here and get a premier spot in North Phoenix by the eventual facility and get paid $8 million and just have a compound drive down to North Phoenix to the new facility. Like that's what I would be selling him. Put your brand new $10 million house right next to our place in North Phoenix, Scottsdale, and it's just going to be a football factory, and you're in charge of it.
Right.
Like this is an easy sell.
I just think the argument against the Cardinals for not having a quarterback, when you look at the rest of the options, there really isn't, outside of Lamar Jackson, a place that has stability at the quarterback position on the open coaching market. It's like, well, if that's the case, who the hell is going to who's going to take this job?
Right.
It's just somebody's going to see it as an opportunity to be a head coach, to be one of 32. And that you can't discount that as much as like, well, he's got a good DC job and it didn't go too well with the Jets. It's like they're going to be in a position at some point to upgrade at the quarterback position. They have to do it. They know that to just survive as a franchise. So like you can articulate that as an organization.
Yeah, and like give them a 5-year deal, give them a 6-year deal, and then just tell everybody like we love this choice. You could say this was who our fan base wanted, and we're gonna see this through.
Mm-hmm.
And then you tell everybody like it or not, like this, we're making a commitment. And there could be some lean seasons. Right. I don't think so, given his floor. His floor is 7-10.
Right. It's like, look, we've got the building blocks defensively for you to do immediately what you do
with the Jets and with
right out of the gates.
Right.
And like it's so important. Like it's such a silly argument to make. Like as far as the quarter, everybody knows the quarterback's a big concern with the Arizona Cardinals. The job of Monti Ossenfort is to ease the concern with that. It should have been maybe one of the first topics they covered in their Zoom.
And I would say you're picking your offensive staff and you're in on the quarterback discussion, and we're going to go any route. We're going to flush that. We're going to do veteran free agent. We're going to do rookie. We're going to do day 2 draft pick, and you're going to have all the options you need. You want a game manager. You want to go lightning in a bottle. You want to trade for Anthony Richardson. You want to sign Kirk Cousins or Malik Willis. We'll do that. I we're not going to force a spoiled kid from BYU onto you who wasn't ready for it. We're not doing that. We're gonna move off Kyler Murray. We're gonna have additional resources. We're gonna have a clean slate for you to operate with. You go to the Dolphins, you're gonna be eating dead cap for years. Cardinals have good cap space before Kyler Murray goes to Pittsburgh or the Jets or wherever. I mean, like if Michael Bidwill pays the amount, they can get Robert Saleh. The longer this goes, no doubt about it. Shaft, $5. Just read the Pittsburgh signed Marcus Freeman and has agreed to terms per Google AI. If true, that leaves 8 openings. LaFleur would be nice. I think that's fake. I'm going to guess that has not happened. It's been a tough day online with Twitter going down, too.
Yeah. I have not seen anything tying Marcus Freeman to the Pittsburgh Steelers job. I think it would be the top of every sports publication. But appreciate it, Shaft, trying to keep us up to date, not miss anything. How about Buanaki? $5. I'd prefer LaFleur over Shula. Bit of an unknown. Only if we can get Saleh Kubiak. If we can't get Saleh Kubiak, McVay's OCs have had higher degree of success than his DCs. Sure.
Yeah. I'm feeling a little arrogant today. So I don't know if I'm fully I was doing the blind sign the contract, yesterday, 2 days ago, about sign me up for LaFleur.
Yeah.
Or I could look behind door number 2. I think their chances of getting Robert Saleh have gotten better. I don't feel great about it yet, but I think they've definitely improved. But I'm with you. Like LaFleur can come in and stabilize things offensively. And then it's really up to Monti and Bidwill. How strong can we make their staff?
Yeah.
How much can we pay for a Raheem Morris? Raheem Morris is out of work. Like if I'm Dallas right now, why are you not talking to Raheem Morris? Dallas, don't be surprised Jonathan Gannon becomes Dallas's defensive coordinator in the next 72 hours. No disrespect to JG, but
right.
Why is Raheem Morris not? How does he not have a job? I think some of these coordinators are probably going to start dropping off next week. That's another incentive bowl for the Cardinals to get this done.
Yeah. Keeping it going with the super chats. How about Saint S Bag? In this coaching search, Michael Bidwill is Uncle Rico and Monti is Napoleon trying to buy markers.
And he was trying to buy the multi-pack of chips. We can't buy the multi-pack. And he threw it at him. He said, put it back. We can't afford that. I mean,
well-versed in Napoleon Dynamite.
That's a famous scene where it's standing there and he brought over the big Doritos multi-pack, the individual bag size. If you're Michael Bidwill and you hear all this, it's just I'm sorry. For a franchise that operates and is worth over $1 billion, you can't scrounge together a couple $1 million more per year for a coach. That would, for me, it's if I'm my franchise is really dictated by about 3 to 5 people. And the head coach is 2 or 3 on that hierarchy. How are you not paying top dollar for that person?
Right.
It's that just seems easy to connect the dots. I no disrespect to anybody else that works there, but owner, GM, head coach, as far as non-players go, because players are in the salary cap, so that doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. Those are the most important people. You should be paying them the most money.
Right. Here we go with Cody. How about supporting the AZ boys? Salute.
Appreciate you, Cody. I heard that some people were disappointed with, a local outlet this morning kind of being overly negative about where the Cardinals sit. And here's what I'll say. And we echoed this yesterday, Bo.
Mm-hmm.
We'll come on here when it's time to be negative, and we'll be negative, and we'll rip people if they hire Vance Joseph. That'll be a show for the ages. I don't want to do that show.
No.
But I think to sit here and be the odds say it's going to be Vance Joseph. If insiders in this market knew who the Cardinals were hiring, they would tell you, because they knew with the old regime, because Steve Keim used to tell everybody everything, right? Insiders can break stuff about the Suns and the Diamondbacks, and they got their old people there and they're funneling their information. Yeah. Why did nobody have, including us, Gannon being ousted?
Right.
Nobody had that. No. Michael Bidwill is operating as a wild card right now. And to sit here and say it's going to be Vance because the Vegas odds say that, and a couple people nationally have connected the dots. Nope. I'm just not buying it. I'm not buying it.
Here we go with Loso. We are doomed to 2 to 3 more years of bad football.
We'll see who they're going to hire.
Right.
Robert Saleh comes here, all right, and is the new coach in 2 weeks. What's the over under for wins next year with Robert Saleh?
5.5.
I would say 6.5.
Yeah. Gotta get the QB right.
Yep.
Keeping it going. How about Reese?
$20.
My top three: Saleh, Kubiak, LaFleur. How do you convince on them to come here instead of the Raiders, Titans, Dolphins, or Falcons?
I don't think those teams are in on those candidates right now.
What? Yeah, maybe not the Titans, but I think you can make the case for the Raiders, Dolphins, and Falcons. That would be the worst of all realities, no doubt about it.
Bad. We need some of these shoes to drop here. Red Feather Workshop, Dana. Thank you so much, Reese, for that donation. Very generous.
Yes.
Time to counter the narrative by paying assistance. Yeah. Saleh's going to say, I want to bring my guys here. I need this much. Then you go to Bidwill and say, like, this is what it's going to take for us to turn this program around.
Mm-hmm.
If we hire Vance or one of these other guys to come here and they're putting together a staff, Davis Webb, making $500,000, it's like you're going to get worked. No disrespect. I'm sure Davis Webb makes more than that.
Right. How about we've got Jackson. Thoughts on Albright gassing up VJ? We need Stefanski to Atlanta. Would put us in the driver's seat for Kubiak.
Albright works in Denver. Probably talks to VJ's people a lot.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's super well connected and probably texts with VJ's agent. And I'm sure the Cardinals to VJ's agent or to VJ directly have been very complimentary of Vance because they're, after what happened with Gannon, trying to course correct and be very complimentary of everybody. But I'm just going to tell you what I said on yesterday's show. Days before he was fired, days, not weeks, Jonathan Gannon was told he was safe, that he was their guy going into the future. And then they axed him on Black Monday. So they don't have an allegiance to John or to Vance Joseph that matches that. I mean, they can say whatever they want to Vance Joseph right now.
Yeah. Keeping it going here with the super chats. Thank you, everybody. Hit that like button, subscribe. Do Michael Bidwill and Monti Ossenfort just hate McDaniel for being a nerdy F-boy vibe?
Probably. Although he's not getting a head job. But I think where he's going to end up, what we've heard is where he's going to end is probably the best case scenario for him to get another head job.
Yeah. How about Dana's back? Great super chat, by the way. Dana, Vance is a loaded potato. Nice, but ultimately unsatisfying unless it comes with a side next to a nice ribeye that JV wouldn't finish.
Wow, Dana,
let us eat steak, Bidwill.
Dana, that is very hurtful coming from you. Bo, do you subscribe to the narrative? I was texting somebody earlier today, and they said they would want Vance because Vance would actually want to come here. And like these other people, you're convincing them with money and power. It's just like, welcome to the NFL. The Giants had to pull out the red carpet to get Harbaugh. Do you subscribe to that narrative that somehow maybe Vance would do a better job because he knows Bidwill, he knows how the team operates, there wouldn't be any surprises?
No, I don't subscribe to that at all.
Okay.
I mean, it's just because the optics of Vance Joseph coming here will be pummeled in the court of public opinion, and it would not provide any juice as far as regaining the season ticket holders that you lost. So like it's null and void. It doesn't matter. It's a moot point whether or not he wants to be here. If somebody wants to take this job that's a more qualified candidate that's going to get the fan base more excited, then I think that's more valuable than just, hey, I really like Arizona. It's great. Let's win this thing based on the power of friendship. Let's do it, guys. Because that's the same thing you would have run it back on.
We're all friends here.
Yeah.
Sometimes your coworkers aren't your friends, but they're good at their jobs. Brian, $10.
Who are you talking about, me or Noah?
I think we know. Saleh. Saleh going to get passed by everyone. Monti Ossenfort lights a cigarette from a dark corner, takes a deep draw. You ready to talk numbers, Bobby? Jokes aside, hold the line. LaFleur, Kubiak, Saleh, or bust. Maiwaga, round one, hold the line. Maiwaga, Ruben Bain, you pick. Bobby, you're picking our first rounder, Bobby. I tell him, I said, you were going to pick the third overall pick.
We're gonna have a mock draft drop this weekend. I think
Yeah,
tomorrow. So
we ripped
look
it,
out for
and
that.
it is hot. It is a hot mock.
No, you edited it. Is it indeed hot?
Yeah, it's not too shabby. I liked
Okay.
it.
Way
I
to
loved
sell
it.
it, Noah. Way to sell it.
The 3rd round pick is flipping electric.
Keeping it going here. How about actually I found out our 2nd round pick is pretty fire as well.
Okay.
Just Google them.
It's our best mock of mock season. It's early, but
yeah. Jack just got back in. Have
I whipped it out yet? We whipped out the coaching search, that's for sure. Jack, you're the best.
Who else we got? Keep them going here. You guys continue to crush it. How about Owen? Unless I've missed something, what's the reason for us seemingly just totally ignoring the availability of Mike McDaniel? It makes zero sense to me.
I do think there's something to be said, maybe not with Monty, but for Bidwill. I think that he was turned off by Kingsbury's leadership qualities toward the end. I think there was an association with Kingsbury and not being able to command a room, which I disagree with. I thought, Cliff was not perfect, but he did a good enough job as a leader when things were going well. I think he probably sees too many similarities with Cliff and Mike McDaniel.
Could have been on the other side too. Who knows? Maybe McDaniel didn't want to come this far west to interview for something he wasn't that interested in. I mean, I know he gave the Browns an interview, but we'll see if that ever comes out. That's something we can pick up when we're at the Super Bowl or if we're in the Indy. We'll certainly see McDaniel out there, regardless of his position. Citrus, LaFleur is such an obvious pick if we can't get one of the top coaches.
Agreed.
Saleh, Kubiak. I can't believe it's even being debated.
And I think the odds that Kubiak, Saleh, and LaFleur all getting head jobs is low. It's low right now. So by that process of elimination, should be able to get a deal done with one of them. And $20. Thank you so much. You guys are super generous today. We probably need to recognize all the head coaching opportunities right now. Cardinals are one of the least appealing, so should be resigned for having to take a punt on a first-time head coach again and rinse and repeat where we are in 3 years. I think there are obvious tier 1 jobs. Baltimore was that. The Steelers are that. If you want to put the Giants because Jackson Dart's in there, whatever. I don't think there is a huge difference with everybody else. I think it's optics. I think it's quality of life. But Jonathan Gannon loved going to work and loved living in Arizona. We asked him off the air about Bidwill every time we talked to him. Loved him. And he would be honest with us about other stuff. So like we said earlier, Owen, the Titans ran out what's his name for the Patriots?
Vrabel.
The Titans ran out Vrabel. The Raiders have been terrible forever. The Falcons just fired a coach that won 4 straight at the end of the year. The Browns traded for Deshaun Watson and forced Shador Sanders onto their coach. Come on. There are clearly some great jobs open, and then everybody else. I think there's some semantics there.
AZ Gunner. Are we shaving heads when Saleh's hired? Thought about it.
Bo can.
Yeah,
Bo's over 6 foot though. I cannot. I need my hair. Sorry, Robert. Bo and Robert can stand there and over.
Johnny would he would have that final little shave, and then he would rinse off the remaining shaving cream on his head, and he'd look in the mirror, and he'd look like Drew Petzing, and he'd say, "What have I done?"
Oh no! They'd be like, "Who's that little troll boy at Radio Row, hiding there under the table?" Because I wouldn't want to see anybody. But yeah, Bo can do it, and Robert can do it. Noah can do it. They're all over 6 foot. They're is what it is. Shane can do it.
There's going to be enough bald-headed people in this state with Monty and Saleh. We don't need to do it.
No, I need my hair. Jenga Man became a member officially. We appreciate you, Jenga Man. Finally, Jenga Man, let's go. Great to see you, my brother.
Glad you finally made the decision to join us.
Join button.
Supporter. You already supported us before, but now it's official. AZ Moses. How about if Saleh becomes the next Cards head coach, we need JB to shave his head and take father-son photo op. Saleh can then show JB how to eat a steak and chug a beer.
I don't know Robert Saleh and if he's a fun guy. Jonathan Gannon, for everything how things went down, and it's sad what became of his interactions with the media, was a fun guy. Gannon would have done something like that with us probably. We'll have to. There's going to be, if they hire Saleh or Kubiak or whomever, there's going to have to be a feeling out portion with this podcast and to see how close we're allowed to get to the new head coach. Gannon wanted to have an interaction with the fans, and we were very fortunate he chose to do that on our platform. TBD, but we're going to try, whomever it is.
Who's next? How about KT Battle or KTB Cattle? I apologize.
Nice.
God bless you and your crew. Go Cards.
Thank you so much. We love our job. This is the best job ever. And I know people are down on this team right now. Only takes a couple moves. You'll be back. And then on the flip side,
yeah, that's pretty optimistic.
you can dig yourself a bigger hole by hiring Vance Joseph. Owen, $5. Considering the crap on our list, we may as well throw Petsing into the mix for an interview. This list is dirt and we'll end up disappointed. Well, that's disappointing. I think there are some really good coaches on that list. Owen, if we get to next week and like the Cardinals' second interview is not good, then we'll have a conversation.
Yeah. It's going to be sad. It's going to be a sad day if it's like 4 of the 5 have no hope, or all 5 potentially. How about Jay Maddox? Noah, can I get a bruh?
You know who loves that sound effect? My 10-year-old son. And then my 6-year-old repeats it. Fox, $4.99. First time catching live. Can we go over the QB options for next year? Draft picks, free agency, etc. Also, Miami OT was Buns in the playoffs. Huge fan. Buns look pretty good. Maybe he's thinking of somebody else. That's like a whole other show.
I am seeing people start to ramp up around the valley as far as the quarterback. We're going to play it, as far as who's the head coach before we get into that.
Because I think we'll have an idea. Because if it's Mike LaFleur, I think Malik Willis is a very real possibility. Daniel, $2. Finally made it to a live show. Noah got me a fa. That's probably my least favorite sound effect that Noah does. 1HCAA, $1.99. Bob, not a slob for the job, bruh. I mean, Gannon was jacked. Robert Saleh, though, is jacked, and then his defense plays jacked.
Yeah. Big time stops.
They do the gutting.
Yeah. Some coaching news. Mike McDaniel is going to interview for the Chargers OC job.
Interesting.
Can you imagine McDaniel and Harbaugh?
I was just about to say that.
Man.
How many flights is he taking? It's like on everybody's commercial flight this week.
I know. How about our guy, Cruz? Bidwill has to know the fan base is at their breaking point. Just bring in Saleh. Love the show. You guys make this hell enjoyable. Thank you so much, Cruz. We appreciate that. They're on the internet. They watch shows, engagement, everything. They see every article. They're online. They're like the rest of us. They're clinically online. They would be nuts to ignore the positive feedback that they got from that interview yesterday. If you came to me and said, like, you got to put your 401k, who do they like the most? Robert Saleh. I believe that they want to hire Robert Saleh. So maybe them getting an interview is the sign to tell Robert, we're serious about this and we're going to make it worth your while financially. We've got our guy, how about Guitar Ward? Is that right?
Yeah.
There we go. How about late to the party? But what about Kurt Signetti to the Raiders? Brady could be the leader in that discussion.
That'd be awesome. Let's do that. Let them win a natty. And then maybe that's why the Raiders job has been so quiet. then he just, I mean, like, if what left do you have at Indiana, Kurt? Like, you win your national championship and then go to the NFL. Be great. Facts, 199. Will Levis trade? ? Please no. Plus a new OT and an edge. That's juice. Will Levis is great content for this show, eating bananas and mayo and stuff and being jacked. But him playing pro football has been rough. But
like weekly memes of whatever weird position he takes on the field. You have me except for the first part of that. But we'll see. Like I said, we're gonna get into the quarterback discussion here real soon.
Yeah.
How about Jenga? Our guy Jenga Man. Biggest plus for VJ is he knows where the bathroom is. That's great.
True. He knows everything about the facility, so he won't be surprised when he sees him in person.
Yeah,
because that is a little bit of a
culture. Be blown away by the Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Keith Davis, $2 to round us out. I got a bad feeling Saleh will end up in Pittsburgh. I mean, there's a possibility they go against the grain and they say you're going to thrive with us here. But why is Chris Sula only taking
Saleh doesn't? He's a little old. Pittsburgh's a little Leonardo DiCaprio as far as their head coaching options go. He might have aged out of that. I did have a couple Pittsburgh Steelers fans in my replies in some of the Saleh posts I made. I'm like, don't talk to me about a coaching search. You guys do this every 20 years. You don't know what you're talking about. I live this. We do a coaching search every weekend. So don't start telling me anything because you don't know anything.
No, you don't. It's like when my parents come out here and try to talk to me about the real estate market here. It's like, you guys haven't bought a house in 15 years. We're not doing that. I live this every day. I see these interest rates. I see this inflation every day. I mean, is Robert Saleh an upside over Mike Tomlin to their fan base? I don't know if that you can sell that, but you can. Hey, Chris Sula is the unknown, right? And he's got a clean win-loss record.
He's an infant, newborn baby boy.
That win-loss record for Robert Saleh, I mean, that might be the thing that gets him here, honestly. Yeah. And
welcome, Bob. You'll fit right in.
Well, we'd love a 7 and 10. Welcome, friend. Hit that like button. Subscribe to PHNX Sports here on YouTube. As Bo mentioned, keep it locked into this channel. We got a mock draft dropping mañana. It is unequivocally one of the best that we've done, and there are multiple trades, both for personnel and for draft compensation. And we kept it incredibly realistic, Bo, I thought.
Yeah, I loved it. You got to check it out. Tomorrow it'll drop. You'll find it in audio form. Make sure you subscribe to wherever you find podcasts. But it's been a banner week, and it's because of all of you tuning in, listening, and interacting, dropping your super chats, and just keeping this chat the best community in the, of course, Arizona sports landscape, the Alley sports landscape. We thank you for that. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't. PHNX Sports. Follow Johnny. Follow me on Twitter. And continue to give props to Noah for annoying Johnny with those sound effects. Have a great weekend. Barring any breaking news and emergency pods, we'll talk to you on Monday right here, 4:30 PHNX Cardinals.
What the Sigma?
We all silly like the mayor.